Welcome to the latest installment in my series of videos showing my romance novel collection. This is episode 47. And I bought all these books yesterday. It's so much that I can't even show all of them. I have another stack over here at the left, but the camera won't get them in. But most of these I bought at either a library sale, a used book library sale, or at thrift stores. And I didn't pay that much money for them. Most of the books were like $5 for $1 at these places. And now the first book that I'm going to show, as you can see, there's some Joanna Lindsey books down below there. But the first book I'm going to show is a brand new book that I bought at a department store yesterday for like $4.50, I think it was. And this one actually came out in August. Or actually, I think August is August 2022. Harlequin Presents number 4030. I think those dates on the spine are actually the pull by date. Like it's supposed to get pulled that month. So some places already have the September month books out. And I wanted to get this one simply because I like the cover. It looks kind of like a painting instead of a photo. Although maybe it was... maybe from a photo, who knows? But anyways, I always recommend to people, if you want to try the romance genre, go to a department store like a Walmart or someplace that sells mass market paperback books. If you're like me, because I've always loved, mass market paperbacks. And just look at a cover, something that looks intriguing. Open up the, first page of the story. Read the first 2 pages. And if it's intriguing, or, if you love the writing style, then might as well buy it. It's only, $5 or so. If you want to try the genre, and at least you can say, I tried the genre. If you pick one up and you look at it inside and you think, oh, I don't like the writing, or I don't like the setup, or I don't like the plot, or the, if you have some problem with it, and if you're critical right from the first page, might as well not even get it, because you'll probably be critical all through the rest of the book too, and you may not even finish it. But if you like it from the very beginning, sometimes I can tell even from, the very beginning of a book, whether it's going to be a 5-star book or not for me, because sometimes it's just like right from the beginning, it's great. And sometimes, sometimes books can go off the rails. It starts out good and then isn't. But, sometimes that will just carry all the way through. I don't know if this would be a 5-star book. Usually category romances like this, I rate about 3 to 4 stars at best, which means I like them. If the star system, Goodreads goes up to 5 stars. So anyways, so I was just going to show that that's a book that I paid full price for, a brand new book at the department store. The other thing I was going to mention is that if you go on Harlequin's website, if you have an account there, you can build rewards, and the if you take a photo of your receipt, your store receipt, showing that you bought this book, and it has the barcode, on the receipt, you can get rewards points, and eventually you can accumulate enough rewards to buy a free book from Harlequin's website. So every time you buy a book at a store that's a Harlequin book, take a photo of the receipt and upload it to the Harlequin website. All right, so now we're going to look at these books. A whole bunch of these books are either Joanna Lindsey books or Brenda Joyce books. Here, I'll move these ones out of the way, because those ones aren't. But, so I'm going to have to readjust here as we look at these books. Now, I've shown in a previous video, the library, that these all were at. They have them in these big boxes on the shelves. And this library has paperback books for 50 cents each, or romance novels, paperbacks, are 5 for $1. And I think the reason that they I think the reason that the romance ones are cheaper is because they have so many of them. There's like shelves and shelves of them. And like I said, I think I showed the inside of this library in a previous video, where you could just see the shelves of the books. Now these are a whole bunch of early Joanna Lindsey books. I'm going to show here. I didn't get this yesterday. I've had this. I probably showed it in a previous video, but this is Joanna Lindsey's first book. It has that red edge from Avon Books. Captive Bride from 1977, although this is not a first printing. This is the 10th printing. So this is Joanna Lindsey's first book. Like I said, I did not buy this yesterday. I've had that. But you have a lot of other early Joanna Lindsey books that I did buy yesterday. Fires of Winter. Also from, I think all these are from Avon, all these Joanna Lindsey books. And this is, so September 1980. Now it's hard to tell sometimes if these are actually a first printing or not. You know, it will say first Avon printing. And we saw in that other book where it said 10th printing below it, it doesn't say anything below that. So it's possible that this is a first printing, but it might not be. I don't know if there's some sort of telltale sign showing that, you know, the difference between first printing and non-first printing. And then we have Paradise Wild by Joanna Lindsey. See, these ones don't have red edges, so that makes me wonder if they stopped doing the red edges in the 1980s, like a lot of publishers did. This is June 1981. Usually with these numbers down here, say if the 1 was missing, like if it just started with the 2, you would know that was the second printing. But this starts with a 1, so usually that means it's the first printing. So this is another early Joanna Lindsey. And a lot of her, she wrote mostly historical novels. And interesting thing is she had different time periods. So some will be a medieval, some will be like Regency, some will be the Old West, you know, Western cowboy stuff. So so you never can tell. I mean, later on, in the 90s, she did like a time travel romance. So you never can tell what historical period you're going to get with Joanna Lindsey. And the covers all look very similar too. So you can see this is 1982. But she was obviously a very popular writer, Joanna Lindsey, who passed away a few years ago. And like I said, her career started in 1977. And there's some of the other books that she wrote. Pirate's Love is one that we don't have here, but we'll see now the other ones there. Heart of Thunder. It shows the other books she wrote. This one's November 1983. Again, it looks like a first printing. First page. Brave the Wild Wind. You know, like I said, they all have very similar covers. I think this one was probably done by Robert McGinnis. Everyone Loves a Lindsey, and there's a list of all her books. So this looks like it's a later printing. Yeah, you can see all these books, so you know this is a later one. Yep. So it says first Avon printing December 1984, but you see that the numbers are already starting with a 17, so this should be the 17th printing. And A Gentle Feuding. Again, so this is an earlier one. So this is May 1984, but it looks like it's a first printing. And here's the famous one, Tender as the Storm. this is the one where the cover, they later obscured, that area of the hero with a little starburst, saying something like, how many copies were sold. And then later, I think they added more leaves to kind of cover the area since this was such a racy cover. This is actually the only Joanna Lindsey book I've read. I have a later printing of it, and I also have the same cover, but not as a nice condition, that I bought some time ago. So yeah, it says first day of printing, June 1985, and looks like a first printing. But yeah, like I said, this takes place in the Old West. This is the only one I've read of her books, but I did enjoy it. Secret Fire. These are sort of like pre-Fabio type covers. Fabio wasn't really starring, although that may be him. You never know. But later this is around the time. This is December 1987. That his career started, and he started appearing on a lot of romance novel covers, including Joanna Lindsey's, which we shall see. The Silver Angel. These are very thick historical romances. So it's coming soon, Man of My Dreams. December 1988, but this looks like it's perhaps the 9th printing. This is printed in Canada. Interesting. I wonder if those other ones were printed in Canada. Let me look at one of those earlier ones. Let's see, this is printed in the USA. But this one, maybe it's a Canadian edition. Yeah, and you'll notice it's bilingual here, it looks like. Huh. Or something. And then Warrior's Woman. Now it looks like probably Fabio on the cover of that one. You can tell that from this cover it's like probably a medieval, a barbarian one. This is the first printing, it looks like, June 1990. Elaine Dulo, who was a very popular artist at the time. Oh, this is a futuristic romance, it looks like. So again, she wrote various, oh yeah, in the year 2139. So yeah, a lot of people probably don't realize that about Joanna Lindsey. They would see this and think, well, this is probably like a medieval romance. But this is actually a futuristic romance, the sort of thing Rebecca Brandywine was writing at that time, it looks like. And then finally here, another famous cover, Gentle Rogue, with Fabio on the cover. And this looks like another first printing, December 1990. Inside cover, there's a picture of Joanna Lindsey. And I think some of these other ones also had pictures of her. Let's see, I missed those. Well, that one doesn't. That one doesn't either. Nor does that one. I think some of the early ones had one on the inside cover. Let's take a quick look here. Oh, I'm not seeing it. There we go. Joanna Lindsey. So this is one of the early ones. I could probably do that as a thumbnail, maybe. Whoop. And I think this one had one too. Nope, it doesn't. Oh well. All right, so that's the Joanna Lindsey ones. Now we're going to take a look at the rest of these books. If I am able to move these around. I'm going to move these out of the way. So, here's the Brenda Joyce books. These are all of them. Now, I think the oldest one is this one, Lovers and Liars. And this is from Dell Books. This has a very 1980s look to it. 1989, September 89. It's like Belinda Glassman was the fabulous rich girl who used men to satisfy her passions, but kept her heart unattached, too hurt by her powerful father to risk falling in love. Jack Ford was the year's fastest rising star, with a big money film contract after a hit TV series, and not into a serious relationship with anybody but the lady called Success. Then fate brought them together on a movie set, and into the pitch-black heat of a Laguna Beach bedroom, where the sex got so hot someone was bound to get burned. So, this is sort of like a soap opera type thing, it seems like. You know, the glitzy glamour of Hollywood and all that stuff. Now, this is a historical Dark Fires, at least it looks like one, yeah. Hey, sounds like racy stuff. This is 1991, June 91. It was also published by Dell. Firestorm. I think this is a later printing of an earlier book. Yeah, first published by Avon in 1988. But it doesn't say here, but this is obviously a later printing because there's a website address on there. So I don't know what printing, but that is a nice cover. The Conqueror, Brenda Joyce. There looks like a Fabio guy there on there. And let's see when this was. Also by Dell. 1990. Well, this is 1996, it looks like. Promise of the Rose. This is Avon Books. 1993, but it looks like the 5th printing. So very popular writer. There's Brenda Joyce right there. And I already have another of her books that I showed in a previous video. It has Fabio on the cover. I forget what the name of it is. But they also had that book at the library sale. The Stolen Bride. This is published by Harlequin. This has a very nice cover. Looks like it's in nice condition too. Oh, there's a nice step back as well, where the hero is in the mirror. There's a thing saying her next book is coming in 2007. Yeah, she has a lot going on. This is 2006. And now we have a whole bunch of Brenda Joyce books that were part of a series called the Deadly series. A Francesca Cahill novel. Now, the first one here, it looks like it was under the name B.D. Joyce instead of Brenda Joyce. And it's a historical that takes place, I believe, in New York in 1901 or so. So here's a note from Brenda Joyce on the back of the book where she talks about this new series. And it's The Deadly Love is the first, I guess, of it. Crime solver extraordinaire Francesca Cahill So I guess she stars in all these books, and it takes place 1902. It says, but you can see it is categorized as romance. I'm like, well, it's hard to see there. There we go. It is a romance novel, according to how it was marketed. And then there's a whole bunch of these. Eventually, I guess she just did them under her own name. And this is from 2002. That's March 2002. So you have, and this is a Francesca Cahill novel. So you have Deadly Pleasure, Deadly Affairs. These look pretty cool. Like I said, they are marketed as romance, although it's the same character in each book. So sort of like a mystery type thing, I guess. Crime solver. But, it's still considered romance, which to me kind of points to the way that romance is open enough to encompass a lot of subcategories. All right, so now we're going to look at the next batch here. All right, so here's another stack of books. This one was a Harlequin Historical Volume 1 from the late 1970s. This is book number 13. So this is the very first, the current Harlequin Historical Series is actually Volume 3. This is 1978. And was later titled Masquerade. We have another Harlequin historical book here, Royal Harlot by Lucy Gordon from 1994. We have a bunch of these books, which I don't know anything about, but they're all Christina Kingston books. They have a sort of a uniform cover and title, so they look like they're part of a line. These are from Jove Books. This one's from 2002. So again, you can see they all have a sort of similar look. This one's from 2000. And then you have two more here. So they have very nice covers. Maybe we can get that in a little better. And this is around the same time, I think. Yeah, 2003. And then 2001. And then we got some Susan Johnson books here. These look like they all came out around the same time. Seized by Love. I think this is a reissue of one of her earlier books. Let's see here. Yeah, she says, when I wrote my first book, Seized by Love, in 1978, and she talks about it there. But she says when she went back and read it, she was, I was astonished to discover how typical it was of the bodice ripper era of romances. There's an actual bodice ripper scene in the story. Wow, did I write that? But she says she altered it very little, because Seized by Love is a book I couldn't write today. So much has changed. Women's and men's roles in our culture have substantially altered in the years since Seized by Love was first published. Steps toward equality in the workplace and the family, legislation to ensure civil liberties, blah, blah, blah. But people wanted a reprint of it, so. This book is from, so originally 1978, but so Bantam Fanfare Edition 1994. And then this is another Bantam Fanfare. Blaze is the name of it. This is an Indian romance, I believe. And this is from 1992. There's the back cover blurb. This is a Stephanie Lawrence book. Looks like an early one. A step back. 2002. The second book she ever wrote, she says. That's obviously a reissue. Then we have some Joe Beverly books here. This is a Zebra Holiday Regency Romance, which they would occasionally do. This is a Christmas one. It's a nice cover. I think this is from the 1990s. 1992, it says. And two more Joe Beverly books here. This is the step back. Saint Raven is the name of this one. From 2003. And Skylark. Here's the step back. From 2004. And then we have some Harlequin historicals here. Diane Gaston, and also another Diane Gaston. And then this Western one, The Marshal and Miss Merritt. The library actually had much more of these, many more of these, but I only picked out those few. And then we had some love-inspired books that I got too. This one, unfortunately, I didn't realize had a tear in the cover, but I had liked the cover, so I wanted to get it. All right, we'll look at some more here. All right, and in the remaining time that we have, Ghostly Enchantment. This looks like a ghost story. And this one is from Harper Paperbacks, 1994. There's the author, Angie Ray. Her first historical for Harper Monogram. Another ghostly one, Ghost of a Chance. It's from the Haunting Hearts line from Jove Books. So a ghost, I guess, is trying to stop her daughter from getting married. Is that what's happening? 1996. And then we got a whole bunch of historical novels that I picked up. These are mostly recent ones. I'll just show these real quick. So let's see here. So Elizabeth Hoyt, two by Mary Beloch, two by Elizabeth Boyle, two by Margaret Moore. These ones are from Avon Books. One has sort of a funny sort of sheen to it. Lorraine Heath. This is a recent one, The Duchess Hunt. And this was at another library where they just say fill a bag for $1. So this one's from 2021, Lorraine Heath. A Jane Feather historical romance. Tracy Ann Warren, The Highness and the Highlander. Kathy Maxwell, The Marriage Contract. Let's see what year that is. 2001 it says, but this is a later printing. Pamela Clare, I actually had this one already, but I think I may just add it to an eBay auction. A Diana Palmer book. A Rosamund Pilcher, The Blue Bedroom and Other Stories. This is a short story collection. I got a big, thick Fern Michaels book. Very thick there. Uncharted, Andriana Anders is the writer's name. It's listed as romantic suspense. This looks like a newer book. You'll see a lot of books that are sort of like thrillers, but they're also considered romantic suspense. The author is shown there. not picture of her, just about her. And then this Harlequin Desire from February 2020, a recent book. And then finally, not romance, but it was a Nancy Drew book from the 90s or so that I picked up, 1990. Anyways, that's it. That's my big haul. And I only paid a few bucks for it. Or it was probably about $10 altogether. Anyways, thanks for watching.